Do you ever feel like you're running on empty, just trying to keep your family afloat? Today, I'll share a fresh approach that can help you reclaim your energy and excitement without waiting for life to slow down. Hey parents, welcome to Fulfillment Therapy. Do you want to raise your kids better and have a stronger marriage? Are you up late at night researching marriage and parenting tools and self-care tips? Do you start each day hoping for deeper connections and less chaos, but it ends with family arguments and going 12 different directions again? My name's Kendra, wife, mom, therapist, and growth enthusiast. It wasn't until I discovered how to fulfill my unmet needs that I was finally able to show up as my best self as a spouse and parent. I realized that by meeting my needs, I could more fully meet the needs of my family with more energy and less resentment. In this podcast, I teach parents skills like boundary setting, prioritizing personal needs, communication, and claiming ownership. Just like my clients, you'll be shocked by the improvement in your marriage, parenting, and personal life when you focus on fulfilling your important unmet needs. Ready to prioritize yourself so you can quit mentally throat punching people? Then grab those earbuds and head outside, and let's walk and talk. Welcome back to Fulfillment Therapy. I'm your host, Kendra Nielsen, and today we're getting real about how to do a personal audit of the past year and get intentional about becoming our best selves without excuses, just clarity and action. So if you're a parent or a spouse who's been running on fumes for way too long, this episode will help you get through that. But before we jump in, don't forget about GIFT25, that coupon code that expires in just a few days. On January 5th, 2026, that one-time ever 25% off of coaching and courses goes away. My friends, that does not come back. That is way too big, but I really wanted something special for you for this very first holiday season. Remember, that's the 3 courses that will help you start your own podcast and online business for passive income if you want more flexibility with your family. And that's those 3 courses for improving your mental health and wellness. So that's a personal growth course, that's a parenting course, and that's a marriage course. So you'll get all of the tools and you'll get some accountability, all of the things that you need to thrive from a professional, from a therapist that knows what really does help and how to do it on your own time with that flexibility and without that huge cost to it. So check that out. All right, back to the episode. This is one of my favorite times of year when we get to do a personal audit, and I geek out about it. I really love it in a lot of ways. And I hope that you will too after this episode as you get inspired thinking about what's coming. So I want to kick this off with a little bit of intrigue. I want you to imagine waking up on January 1st and then looking back at the year behind you, realizing that you can't quite remember what you accomplished for yourself. So maybe you kept everyone fed, you got the kids to their activities, maybe you kept the house standing. But what about your own sense of purpose and excitement? That might be a blur. I know for me, it often was before I started doing these things that I'm going to talk to you about today. You are not alone. All of us do it. And some of us get more stuck than others in this cycle. And it's why a personal audit is so powerful and why I love it and I go back to it every single year. For those of you that have been with me since the beginning, this is something I talk about at the beginning of the new year because it is so transformational. I want to come back to this scenario at the end. But for now, let's talk about how to break free and get intentional about our lives in a way that maybe we haven't done yet. So first and foremost, what is a personal audit? A personal audit is that structured, honest self-check across the main areas of our lives. So that's mental health, relationships, parenting, marriage, physical health, maybe your career, personal growth. But it's not about beating ourselves up. It's about seeing clearly where we are and where we want to go. Now, when I dove into this several years ago, I really went to the professional sources that live and breathe this stuff. And John C. Maxwell talked a lot about these things. So he said, most people want to hear or tell a good story. but they don't realize that they can and should be the good story. That requires intentional living. It is the bridge that crosses the gap to a life that matters. So, why does this matter for parents and spouses? We are so busy caring for others, it's so easy to lose sight of our own dreams and our own fulfillment. And the result, naturally, is what I see with clients every single day. And that's anxiety, that's depression, that's overwhelm. It's just this apathy about life. And we end up living by default and not by design. So, a personal audit is our chance to pause, to reflect, and get clear on what we want for ourselves and for our families. So, I'm going to share 4 steps to a powerful personal audit. The first one is reflect honestly on each area of your life, starting by rating your satisfaction in those key areas. So, mental health, marriage, parenting, friendships, career, physical health, and hobbies on a scale of 1 to 10. Now, if you want access to this, you can email me, and I have a great worksheet for this. You can email the team at hello@fulfillmenttherapy.org. Otherwise, I'll try to remember to put that in the show notes as well. But then ask yourself, what's working well? What's draining my energy? Where do I want to see change? My friends, this is not about perfection. I talk about that a lot. It's about noticing those patterns. Patterns are so important to tune into. For example, maybe you realize that your marriage feels more like a business partnership than a friendship, or your self-care has dropped to the bottom of the list. So for number 2, I want you to envision your level 10 life. What would a 10 look like in each area? Now, realistically, we're not going to be in a 10 in each area all the time. There's things that we don't anticipate. There's ebbs and there's flows. I get that. But I want you to visualize it and explore what that could look like. Like maybe it's having regular date nights or feeling energized in the mornings, or maybe even laughing more in your home together instead of just being focused on the negative. Tony Robbins is another person that has a lot of incredible insights. And he said, setting goals is the first step in turning the invisible into visible. It's about painting a clear picture of what you want, not what you think you should want. There's a big difference there. Now, here's number 3, get intentional. Set those clear goals and vision. So intentional living means making choices that reflect our values and our priorities. For parents, this might mean protecting family dinners from work interruptions. It might mean being very connected to your church community. It might mean regular scripture reading. Or for spouses, it could be prioritizing time together, even if it's just a walk after dinner. Maybe for you, it's carving out some time for a personal hobby or interest. Now, I can't go without a little pickleball plug here, but maybe it's playing more pickleball. I noticed recently that I was really burnt out because I hadn't been playing as much. And so I started lessons again, and I got a friend to do it with me and just did something to really nurture something that I love. In the past, it's been artwork. I haven't done that as much recently, but that's something I have really loved in the past. Something different. What makes your soul personally, not the person next door, not what you think you should do, not something that's all about productivity and this or that or the other, but something that really fills you. Andy Frisella famously said, a goal without a plan is just a wish. So write down your vision. Set specific, realistic goals for each area you want to improve. Here is number 4. I want you to break it down and track your progress. So big changes can feel overwhelming. I get that. Break it down into those small, doable steps. I know you've heard this before, but it's actually doing it. Taking the time today or this week before you get in the grind of that next step, before you get in the grind of the gray potential winter, depending on where you live. Start now. Start with a 10-minute walk each day, or maybe if you want to connect more with your spouse, schedule a weekly at-home date night even. It doesn't have to be a big deal. And then track your progress. Use your planner, your journal, even a family whiteboard. I know for me, I really like a paper planner. Some people just want to do everything digital. It's up to you how you want to do it. But I really love that daily reminder every time I go back to my planner. And mine has a weekly habit tracker. And so I do it on there. And sometimes I have my bigger habit tracker. I also have those available on my website too. If you cannot see that, sometimes I'm shifting things around. Let my team know. You can email them and ask for the habit tracker and ask for the wellness wheel. I have very specific things that help with this that are better than ones I've seen online. So check those out with us. and you can get those benefits. Bill Robbins said, "You are not starting at zero. You've already started taking steps towards your goals. You have momentum, and I want you to keep going." So as you're doing this, you can keep going. You could start those initial steps and take that day by day. Have an accountability partner. I always do. I don't advise people to do things that I'm not seeking to do myself. I try to teach you what works for me, what works for my clients, and then I practice what I preach. And I know these things work. All right. I want to bring that all back full circle. So remember that feeling when you look back at your year, not knowing where the time went. So by doing a personal audit and getting intentional, we can create a year that feels more purposeful and fulfilling and not just busy. We can change the trajectory of our life and that of our families. Our example matters. So we're not just these characters that are swept along by this plot. Another thing that I do is I just create a Google Sheet, and every single month at the very last day of the month, I do a very simple 5-minute exercise where I share the top wins, both personally and in my business for that month. And I just very quickly track them down. So I flip back through my planner that tells me what I have done every day. And I remember, oh yeah, that was a big win. Oh yeah, I like that. And I track all those down. And at the very end of the year, so the same week of the year, I then look back on all of those things and I very clearly see what I want to do more of, what I liked, what really felt like it was a win for me. And you can also, as you're going through your planner, if you have a paper one or however you do it, or starting to set it up this year so you can do it next year, you can also see what was a waste of your time, what did not work as well, what did not serve you and your family, and really focus on those patterns that you've noticed. What hasn't served your family and what hasn't served you and what has, and maybe other people in your sphere of influence as well. So do more and less of that and make note of that and that personal audit. And then what I really like to do is once I take that information and I review it at the end of the year, then I get this really beautiful, sometimes not beautiful, depending on how you've done things, but this holistic view that helps me see things from this bigger picture and helps me create this clearer direction, this clearer intentionality for the coming year. And I get excited instead of depressed. And I think, okay, there's these little shifts that I can make. It doesn't have to be this complete overhaul, just that steady upward course that we're all seeking for that's not so overwhelming or unrealistic. So that is what I do. And I sit on my patio if it's not too cold, or else inside looking out the window. I personally give myself about a half day to really focus on this because this matters more than almost anything that I do in the year. And ideally, I would like to do a little getaway, like whether that's a little cabin, a peaceful place where you can really get intentional about what it is you want for you, for your family, how you've done holistically in the year. Maybe your spiritual health has not been ideal and what you can do to shift that. Or maybe it's your physical health, like you've noticed it really declining. It could be anything. What is it for you? We all have different things we're working on. So just a quick recap, a personal audit helps us see clearly where we want to go. So envisioning a level 10 in our life gives us direction and motivation. Setting realistic goals turns those dreams into reality, and breaking those big goals into small steps makes change manageable. We have the power to create a life that excites and fulfills us starting now, even if we had young kids, even if we have a million things with a bunch of teenagers or grade school kids and we're taking them all over. Let's not wait for that perfect time. Let's get intentional and make this year our best story yet. Remember, if it's important to you, you'll find a way. And if not, you'll find an excuse. I see that again and again in the lives of the people I work with. Thanks for joining me today, my friends, on Fulfillment Therapy. I pray that you'll have more clarity as you do your personal audit, as you get intentional. I just want to end with a quick reminder that I keep forgetting to tell you that all of our podcast episodes are now available on YouTube. They actually have been for a while, but I keep forgetting to mention that. So if you want to see, not just hear, you can check us out on YouTube. Do a search for Fulfillment Therapy, and I will also try to put that in the show notes. Sometimes I forget, but I'll try to update all those as well. Just a reminder again, you just have a few days left with that 25% off coupon for all of our courses and all of our coaching that will never come back with all of these. So utilize that now. You might be busy still wrapping up from the holiday season, but we're fast approaching that slump that everyone typically gets in. Just really struggling these next couple months. And it's important to have something that you're working towards while you're thinking about that personal audit, while you're feeling a little bit of motivation before you go into that direction of complacency. So hop on that now, and you can work on this course on your own time. It's self-led. It has weekly assignments. It's great for improving your mental health and wellness and to deepen your fulfillment. So jump on that now. All right, my friends, I will see you, like always, back here every Monday and Thursday with a new episode. Until then. Hey friends, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, chances are someone else would too. Would you take 30 seconds to share this with a friend who's looking for greater family fulfillment? And while you're sharing, tell me what you think about the show by leaving a review on Apple Podcasts. It refuels me when I hear this podcast is helping you. No matter what your house or your hair looks like, I'll meet you back here every Monday and Thursday morning for more episodes. Until then.